Welcome back to the Stormcast, everyone. This is the podcast where we talk all things TABC sports. My name is Allan. We are live at my house. I'm here with Oren Glickman, Noah Kessler, Allan Rozner in the corner. Oren, how you doing?
It's great to be here. Very interesting group in person. Our first Stormcast show in a home. A lot to go over. Guys are midterms right now, but we're plowing ahead with our last show of the semester, and then we'll all take a break and have some nice deserved relaxation time.
Exactly. So I think we're going to do today's a little different. We only had 5 games since we last spoke, which I would overall call a very good 5 games, which we'll discuss shortly. I think we're going to talk about the season how it's been as a whole. We have a player here from JV Hockey. Also, we'll talk to him a little bit about the JV Hockey season. And just about our expectations going into the season and how they've come to fruition or not, at this point. So we'll kick it off. Only 2 teams have played since we last spoke. We had varsity hockey playing 3 games, 3 pivotal games at that. They unfortunately lost to Frisch in a valiant effort, went up 2-1 in the second period, something I don't think any of us were expecting to happen.
They had 2 leads.
Exactly, up 1-0 and 2-1 in the second period. Yes. Unfortunately, they lost 4-2. Still played very well, and then they came back, beat Hank, and beat Ramaz. Hank during the Winter Classic, and Ramaz on the road to clinch a playoff spot with 2 easier games coming up after winter break, making it likely all they need is one Ramaz loss and to win out to get the 3 seed, which will be big if we'll talk about, and we'll talk a little bit more about the teams as a whole. And then JV Ball had 2 big games. They were 6-2 going into these 2 games. And they beat Frisch at home Winter Classic, beat Hillel, clinching the 1 seed, clinching a first round bye straight to the quarterfinals. So really impressive performances from both teams, going 4-1, only 1 loss, and really getting a lot of ground. So, Oren, what are your thoughts on those games?
So my thoughts in regards to varsity hockey, I think they'll still be a little bit annoyed that they're still missing that big signature win over a Frisch, a DRS, an SAR. So that's still missing. Having said that, though, they put themselves in a very good position for the playoffs. The Hank win was pretty significant, getting the revenge after being surprised in the semifinals last year, and then beating Ramaz. And those 2 wins, you have to give a lot of credit to 2 brilliant individual performances from Jake Rubenstein in the Hank game and Marty Teitelbaum in the Ramaz game. So now TABC put themselves in a very good position of clinching the 3 seed. And as the 3 seed, they will now, should they win their first round game against either, I think it's going to be Kushner or, they will now automatically go to the 2 seed in the other conference. So now they avoid having to go to the greenhouse and will go to Hafter instead, which is a lot more manageable.
Yes, obviously, just to talk about varsity hockey as a whole, they are missing that statement win. But this is what we thought going into the year, that even if we don't get any of the big wins, we could still go 9-5 super easily, and that's what it looks like it's going to happen. Obviously,
get to the semifinals.
Exactly. They're probably the 4th best team in the league currently, or 5th, or somewhere in that range. As Oren mentioned, Jake Rubenstein has scored 4 goals, and he's my vote for Stormcast Player of the Week. I think he's yours as well.
Yeah.
Just incredible performance, 4 goals. Against a really good team. Then Marty Teitelbaum followed it up 2 nights later with 3 goals against Ramaz in a 6-1 victory. And again, another very impressive performance. And this puts them in a very good position, as you mentioned. Being able to avoid the greenhouse as if they were the 4 seed. Ramaz still has to lose a game. They will be playing.
Right, Ramaz has to lose to SAR.
Or YDE. YDE is not.
Right. But we let's assume Ramaz will beat YDE and the SAR game will be much harder for them.
Yeah, both of them are actually over our finals week, I believe. Or over our week.
Yeah, so we'll know our fate by... TBC might know what their fate is by next Tuesday. And the Kushner MTA home games to close out the season will be pretty meaningless.
Exactly. So that would be really good, being able to face Hafter Hafter instead of DRS. Hafter, of course, is a very good team. They beat Hank, beat a lot of other teams, but they're no DRS, and we know. But we did play DRS tight, and Hafter's played DRS tight also. That's obviously going to be a hard game. Assuming we make it there, we should. But that's much preferred to playing DRS. So if you wanted to talk, we wanted to talk about how varsity hockey has better expectations, or I think I'll just go first. In the beginning of the season, this is exactly what I thought this team would be: the 4th best team in the league, worse than SAR and Frisch, a step below DRS, but still a very quality team, and not a team that missed the playoffs. Not at all the same team that missed the playoffs a few years ago. Obviously we've spoken about that a lot. That there's a lot more margin for error in varsity. Also, this team just looks better now, looks older. You saw Sandell in goal. Saul is probably one of the best goalies in the league as a junior. But genuinely, exactly what I expected. And I think this team, can easily make the semifinals, but I think this team has a sleeper's chance to make the finals. This team's like better and better when they play close teams. The first game against Fish was a blowout. The second game against Fish was much closer. First game against SAR was a blowout. Second game against SAR much closer. Same thing against DRS. We didn't play them twice, but our game against DRS looked very close. I think this team has a sleeper chance of making the finals, which is maybe not even something we thought going into the year.
Yeah, I think they are what we thought they would be. They have a good chance of finishing 9-5. People like to remind us that this is the team that did not make the JV playoffs 2 years ago.
As Noak and I know very well.
But Sal Sandell was playing varsity that year, and Dean Cattler was not with us. So it's and Marty was injured, so it's a little bit of a different team. But ironically, JV is harder than varsity because there's more room for error in varsity. There's more teams in the playoffs. So, having the opportunity to finish 9-5, I think I can't go back into our crystal ball, but I think we might have predicted that they would have finished 9-5 before the season had even started.
Exactly. Lose all 5 games against Diagras Fish and SAR and win out. That's pretty much exactly what we thought. So I think good job on our part. I think this varsity hockey team has a very good shot to make the semifinals. They've done a great job closing out here, not letting these losses get to them and looking better. And I think you talking about JV hockey a little bit leads us into JV hockey. I think we'll call over Allan Rozner in a minute. I think we'll just talk a little bit about the team as a whole first. We spoke about this team has a top 2 seed going into the winter break, and this team is exactly what we thought they would be. Kind of more what we thought JV ball would be, honestly. More
as the majority of our student body likes to say these days, we're a JV school.
Exactly, we are. Last year we were a tournament school.
Tournament school last year. This year we're a JV school.
North Shore took over our title. Shout out North Shore for going 17-2 in 4 tournaments. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Making championships in 4 straight tournaments, but whatever. Side point. JV hockey look like the best team in the league. And you spoke about this, how the JV hockey field looks as open as it's ever been. There are 5 really quality teams in the league, and to Noah Kessler is amused by that, I guess. But this league's wide open, and TABC probably is the best player, Jack Solomon, one of the best goalies, and one of the best slap shots in Allan Rozner. Oren, any thoughts before we call over Allan's interview?
Listen, the SAR game to close out the regular season, at this point, it's just to see who the 1 is and who the 2 is. I think they're just going to want to win that game to keep their title of being the remaining sole undefeated team in TABC. Because at this point, you're hosting a semifinal game. You just have to win 1 playoff game to get to the finals. Against
one of Frisch, DRS, and Hafter, who are all very tough opponents.
Right, so it's going to be hard regardless of who you play against.
Exactly. So,
but let's get Allan Rozner on and get some more perspective.
Come in the middle. No, I do have a question.
Yeah, I guess I would say you guys had high expectations from the very beginning. Did you think you would wrap up this bye before winter break had even started?
I think we did definitely think we were going to win it. It was during the Hafter game, we were all concerned, oh shoot, we're going to lose. We're down 2-0 when Noah Schwabel gave up that goal. And then at that point, we did not think we had the chance of having the bye now. But I feel like after the game, we all had a feeling we were going to get the bye then.
Mm-hmm.
Just speak about a little bit about the team's resilience. Meaning, this team, you guys have come back from deficits against Hafter, right? 57 seconds left or something like that, down 2 goals against DRS, didn't give up, and when they kept them responding. Talk a little bit about how the team's been so resilient and fighting back, never giving up.
I think the resilience. I'd like to give a huge shout out to Jack Solomon. Whether we're down 10-0, 1-0, he's always putting in his all his heart into the game, and I think and shout out to everyone else on the team. Everyone else is putting all they could, even the bench for being loud. But I think one big factor in our resilience is honestly just the bench being loud. Everyone just in the locker room just saying, we have this, do not quit. And our coaches just giving us hope. And yeah.
So in your opinion, what makes this group so hard to beat? Because the last 2 years of TABC JV hockey, you had the team 2 years ago that didn't even make the playoffs. Last year's team struggled to make the playoffs, but eventually made a run all the way up to the championship. And this team has yet to lose a game this year. So why such a big difference between the last 2 years and this year when it comes to TABC JV hockey?
I think the lines this year are like a lot better with all the freshmen, and like the Gramasians play really well together. Then we got Jack and Schwabel. They have some of the best shots in the league. And then we have Catler and Rothwax, another great line. And obviously me and Schmutter, I think we've been a great line also. I just think everyone's been working well together, just going all out and like playing with each other.
I hear that teamwork is really important. So if you want to, how have the freshmen really? You spoke a little bit about the Gramasians, but which freshmen have really stood out to you? Not just talent wise, but also work ethic wise, and guys that made a big difference to the team that they didn't have last year.
Eli Herkman.
Eli Herkman definitely with that nice yellow bucket. When everyone sees that yellow bucket, they just want to play even better than they already do. They want to work harder. But really, I think the Gramasians, nobody really expected them to have this chemistry they have. Like their stick handling, then he knows where he is without even looking. He just knows where he is. It's incredible, their chemistry.
So the run to the championship really starts with the home semifinal game that you're going to get. The SAR game is really just let's beat them to stay undefeated. In terms of the semifinals, is there a particular opponent you want to face, or in your mind, do you really agree with Ellie's analysis that seeds 3 to 5 are all really strong in their own ways?
I think everyone's really strong, but I think Hafter, because like they only play 6 guys and they all get tired very easily. So I feel like we get to dribble around them more. Like DRS plays like 4 lines for some reason, and they're always ready to hustle.
Shout out Helga Lubchik, our favorite JV coach, not coaching TABC. Not JV hockey coach.
I had to get Zach Tuckman.
Yeah, obviously, mandatory Zach Tuckman. No customer has a question.
I don't know if you can hear me, so I'll come over and ask a question.
Obviously, Oren's made it a point, the past, couple of weeks, the past 2 years. Last year, he said losing to SAR for TBC varsity ball was good for them. And he says that this year, first really losing, in the regular season would be good for them because it's not really, it's good for a team to learn how to lose, before you go into the playoffs. And that, sometimes it's not healthy to be undefeated going to the playoffs. So how do you guys manage that going into your last game? Because obviously the goal is to win the last game. So how do you guys manage being the only undefeated team left and making a run to the championship?
I think we got to manage it by thinking we have one loss. Because if we think we have a loss, or we go into the game knowing nothing's coming out of it, I think, and we say we happen to lose or whatever, like nothing bad's going to happen because we anyways get a bye, I think that could have a big impact on it.
Did you guys always believe that you could be the last undefeated team in TABC? Because I think, not that people weren't hyped about JV hockey, but I think there was a lot of hype surrounding JV ball. And they have 2 regular season losses. I mean, they still got what they wanted at the end of the day. They're also going to be the 1 seed in the playoffs and have home court throughout. But do you guys think like, oh wow, the school's like everyone's paying attention to us the most because we're the last unbeaten team?
I do think JV ball in the beginning got a lot of the attention, but I feel like after they lost that first game, I feel like a lot of people were like a little disappointed in them, and then I feel like everyone's kind of switched the gear towards us. But Rabbi Alvner, he said JV ball is still the best team in the school.
Right, that email. Yeah.
He did that before
And that email?
He did it even before we beat Frisch. So very questionable choice. I mean, like after we beat Frisch, like I understand Rabbi Avner, but before.
But I do think that we did not think we definitely thought we had the chance of being undefeated, but I don't think we knew like we'd be the only one in the school. We thought JV ball would also be undefeated.
Yeah, and in regards to the SAR game, do you think SAR have the same mindset as you guys going into that game?
Yeah, I think so. Because actually, after losing to Hafter, I feel like they want to beat us, so they kind of can like get revenge on like Hafter, kind of like by us also not being the undefeated team.
I mean, it makes them feel better not being the only to not be undefeated when they should.
Yeah.
Okay. Any final questions, Oren? Or
No. Well, you guys keep up the great work. Have a great vacation. Miami, Florida. That's where the Rozners will be.
I mean, we have 2 more teams to. I won't discuss too much.
Yeah.
But thank you to Allan. Allan, if you want to keep on sitting here, you can sit here.
Thank you.
All right, next segment.
Okay, so we're gonna move on here to So
I guess it's a good segue into JV ball.
Yeah, JV ball. I mean, JV hockey has been. You have to give them an A+. I think you would agree with their performance this year. And I think at the beginning of the season, we discussed both JV teams. We said JV ball is the team to beat. JV hockey may be the team to beat. And it seems like we kind of flipped roles here. It seems like JV Hockey is the team to beat, and JVL may be the team to beat because they're 8-2. They got the 1 seed. We're gonna talk a little bit about their two big wins, beating Frisch and Hill, the 2 teams they lost to earlier in the season, getting the 1 seed. Team looked good in all facets. Bench looked really good. Ezra Adams, Tony Stein, Josh Neese, of course, Shai Bakel, unfortunate injury. I don't know if we have a Stormcast injury report. I don't know if we have that. But,
I think it was a shoulder sprain.
Okay.
So it's the perfect time for him to take off now and not play any basketball for a couple weeks.
Exactly, because we're done for the season. JV Ball as a bye. They will not be playing until mid-February, basically, at least. Meaning,
well, they'll be in the Montreal tournament.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
I think of that more as like a tune-up for the playoffs.
Yeah. In Montreal, I guess we'll talk a little more.
It'll be a good test going up against older players from Montreal. They play with the 24-second shot clock. Hillel will also be there, so that'll be interesting. So we'll see how they do in that.
Okay, so maybe we'll discuss a little more of that after winter break if we record an episode before that. But just talk a little bit about their 2 wins and why these wins are so vital for the path to the playoffs.
I think after the Hillel loss in Deal, the spirits were a little bit down. But they knew at the end of the day, you have to take care of business at home, and you're the 1 seed, and they did exactly that. They're undefeated at home. Both their losses in the regular season were on the road, so it goes back to our previous logic: Pits win games.
True.
And the Pit certainly delivered on both. Right. Well, I guess a home Pit too.
Okay, but also still, that game was incredibly.
But it shows they have a level of comfort playing at home too.
Exactly.
In regards to the Frisch game, I think they did a really good job neutralizing Munoz. So credit to them in terms of their defensive approach. And, Adams and Stein get their buckets when they have to, and that's what ultimately made the difference. In regards to the Hillel game, I thought it was very interesting the way Coach Weisberg used his bench. We saw contributions from Ben Gala, Solly Laserson, Moshe Sharbat, and those guys played some critical minutes. And because of those guys, in addition to Adams and Stein, were able to take care of business at home, lock up the 1 seed, and now we have home court advantage throughout the playoffs in our quest to get to Yeshiva University and play for a championship against what a lot of people expect to be Magen David.
Yeah, it's a rematch of last year's Sarachek, if it happens, finals. But this team, just more about the bench. I mean, especially with Bakel not playing the final quarter and a half, was it? Quarter. That was especially key. But it was more than a contribution. Solly Laserson scored 8 points. Moshe Sharbat hit 2 threes. I mean, these are more than contributions. These were arguably some of the most vital plays of the game.
The only freshman to play, too.
Exactly. You are on record, I think, also saying no freshmen are going to make contributions this year.
Well, I always thought Sharbat had a chance.
Yeah. I mean, you always did say that Sharbat has the best chance.
Yeah.
But after that, and saying we're going to cakewalk to the championship. And
right. Shout out Zach Tuckman.
Shout out Zach Tuckman. Your weekly shout out. Always good to see you.
Listen, I got to see some of the Magen David game last night playing at the Greenhouse, and they dominated, and they are a very good team.
They're up 20 in the second quarter. It wasn't even close.
Yeah.
They're like 40-20.
I think the closest game they've played was maybe a 13-point win on the road at North Shore. So
on the road,
the fact that TABC don't have to play them now until the championship game, should they get there, is pretty good because playing a championship game on neutral site at Yeshiva University, anything can happen.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Wait, MDY is actually good.
Very good.
Very good.
MDY just I don't know.
Zach Tuckman, I'm going to actually quote because I consider him a good friend, and we were texting the other night. He feels that Magen David play similar basketball to us. They're just a slightly better version than we are.
Yeah, that's what that makes sense. I haven't watched enough Magen David basketball, but that makes sense. I mean, MDY has absolutely dominated every other team in their conference. Flatbush was 8-0 going into that game, and Magen obliterated them. DRS was a good team. They've only lost to North Shore and Flatbush in very close games. They get obliterated by them in the greenhouse, meaning none of them was a massive greenhouse there, but MDY just looks absolutely dominant in their conference, and clinching the 1 doesn't just save them a playoff game. If they were the 3 seed, probably like Heschel in the first round, which would be the biggest deal because we destroyed Heschel.
Right.
But
even if they had dropped down to 3, they still would have avoided Magen David.
Yeah, but still,
they just would have had to play an earlier round, host that earlier round, and then most likely go to Flatbush and play in Brooklyn. But the fact that you have a bye now and you get to play 2 2 potential home playoff games to get to the championship. And I think they were also going into this Hillel game with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder because they remembered the sophomores who were freshmen last year. They remember the task that was in front of them last year, playing at home in their last game of the season against JEC. And if they had won that game, they would have been the 2 and also gotten the first round bye, and they didn't accomplish that task.
And they lost. And not only did they not accomplish it, they lost
the
first round.
ensuing game in the first round, so they didn't want to put themselves in that position again.
Going back to the point on Magan, I think the pits affect JV games more because younger kids get more frustrated. I noticed that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it
true.
could be.
That's
Especially
true.
if you get a pit in
At
the
YU.
championship game, these JV kids have never played in front of a big crowd before.
Right.
And
as Zach, I always go back to Zach Tuckman, but Zach had also pointed out that Mac and David, they haven't played any close games, so they haven't really been battle tested. So we'll see. I mean, listen, for all we know, Mac and David could get upset by Frisch in the semifinals, and you have a Frisch TABC JV
That would be electric.
championship at YU.
I mean, we've also spoken that was a concern with JV ball earlier in the season when we first played against Frisch.
Right, that's what I
Right.
pointed out to Zach.
Yeah.
That TABC didn't play any close games
Hurt
heading
them.
into that first Frisch game in Paramus,
It hurt them,
and
man.
found themselves down at 18 at halftime.
Exactly. And honestly, you could argue the same thing happened in Hillel. Went down in a close game.
Right.
So this JV, and just to talk about Kessler's point a little bit. Yeah, I think it's most definitely true. I mean, shout out to Joe Mizrahi. He is a stud for Hillel. Hillel. I think he was 1 for 4 from the free throw line when the guys were chanting, meaning he was shaken. And I don't mean this as, I mean, like, I'm not saying that we should, like, I'm not saying, like, we're saying obviously not anything bad towards him, but, like, when the pit's loud, it shakes these guys.
Yeah, no,
It wasn't even that big of a pit.
I know, it was just loud.
I used to work at Hillel, as I'm sure a lot of our viewers know, and I obviously know a lot of the parents who came down to the game the other night. And his son starts. His name is Citron.
Oh, yeah, number 2.
And his father pointed out to me that he had a talk with his son that he has to get ready to play in this environment. He was telling him, you have never seen an environment like this before when playing games. Like, this is like, get ready because you're gonna have to get adjusted to it.
Yeah, and honestly,
you're gonna have to get adjusted to it fast.
It's hard for number 2.
Was one of the guys that when he got the ball, TBC kids were chanting him to shoot it, and he wouldn't shoot it because he got scared.
Yeah,
I think he was scared.
I don't think it was malicious. I don't think it was malicious by
Right.
the pit, but I just think they were just getting a little bit.
Head games.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think it clearly had an effect on him. I think you could argue the same thing. Munoz honestly
Yeah.
a little shaken when at the free throw line. Malco didn't look the same when in the first game against Frisch. Everyone underestimated him. When Malco played against TABC, he missed 2 threes, which obviously is not the craziest thing. But I'm pretty sure he didn't miss a shot in the first time we played him.
Although Coach Katz, as you know, my mentor, he's you very well know this. He is not a fan of the fake shot clock.
Obviously, there's a fine line between disrespect. I mean, this is something I don't know if we've ever spoken about this before. It's a very fine line between disrespect and chanting and head games. It's a very, very fine line, and
It worked in one of the 2 games, by the way.
and that's
Oh, it worked. It doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah, so
It
you got
also worked against TBC too. A Gallo choked up a shot before because the pit was chanting too fast. The Gallo
Right. It could go
By
the
mistake,
By the way,
yeah.
if the possession swings the other way,
Yeah.
it could backfire.
Yeah, and it also just just naturally the pit pat chants very fast.
Right.
So like sometimes like even to full 2 seconds ahead by mistake.
Yeah, that's why Gallo 3 seconds and he shot like he was at the buzzer with 3 seconds left.
Right.
Yeah, so I think JV ball 1 seed. Like I think these wins against Frisch and Hill let us forget about the losses earlier in the
Yeah.
season.
Now the vibes are positive again.
Exactly.
This is what we expected going into the season. This is what we get.
And I think first round, I mean, like the quarterfinals are probably going to be facing a DRS probably or a Hafter. One of those teams. I mean, it depends on how that the Eastern Conference
Right.
plays
It's
out.
my understanding the DRS are officially the 4 seed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So really,
So unless the 6 were to upset the
3,
3 and
yeah.
DRS beats the 5,
Yeah.
DRS could be coming out to Tino.
a team that we played. Obviously, we'll preview that a little.
And CSY tip off.
Exactly. We played them before. A little bit of an interesting style game in Shoresh. So that will do it for JV basketball. That their summary, and then moving on to our final team, varsity basketball, probably the most intriguing team, having the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, beating Heschel, one of the worst teams in the league by 2, but also sweeping Frisch, beating SAR in the Hive, literally just all over the place with this team.
But I think it goes back to varsity hockey. I think they are what we thought they were.
Yeah, but in a different way. Meaning,
Right.
this is-
It's
this
been
is
more,
varsity-
it's
yeah.
been more of an up and
Yeah,
down.
this is varsity hockey beating DRS but losing to Hank. Meaning, like
Right.
that's like they're still ending up with the same record. If you told me before the season, I probably would have guessed 8-6. This team did up, and they have a chance of going 8-6. But it's not been exactly the way we would expect. I mean,
if I would have told you they were swept Frisch, you would have
swept Frisch.
You wouldn't believe that they would have taken one game.
Yeah, I mean, and also if you told me you swept Frisch,
Honestly,
you got swept by Hillel, not even looking close.
It even shows how more critical those Frisch wins were because we might not be in the playoffs otherwise.
Exactly, that's crazy to think about. So. And like you told me, we would lose to MTA, get swept by Hillel. One of those games being not even particularly close.
And I always, I said this. I always believed that one MTA game, those two Hillel games, were our 3 biggest games of the season, and we lost all 3 of those.
I mean, that's also when we were assuming we weren't going to beat Frisch and SIR.
Right.
Like what I'm saying, it's just this team's been all over the place.
In terms of seeding, they still are pretty big, and that's probably why we're unfortunately not going to host a first round playoff game.
Exactly, and I think playoffs years. I think it's going to be a little. We're probably pretty much locked in as the 6th seed. I'm pretty sure, right?
We could maybe go up to 5.
The question is, will we even prefer it? I mean,
right.
we really don't
At
want to.
At this point, we know we're most likely going to be going to Hillel, SAR, or MTA.
Exactly.
Assuming Ramaz can take care of business and lock up the 2, so Ramaz and Frisch get the buys.
I mean, I think we'd 100% rather anywhere by Hillel. Give us SAR or MTA. We're a million times happier. The problem is that even if we beat one of those, we have to go to the greenhouse the next round because we're going to be the lowest seed.
DRS officially locked up the 1 seed last
and
night.
the greenhouse is going to be rocking. That is true. But
I just don't. I can't envision people signing. I can envision people signing up for a fan bus to go to the 5 towns to play DRS. I cannot envision fans signing up for a fan bus to go all the way down to Deal.
Yeah, I did not go to the JV ball game 2 years ago. Did we have a fan bus to that game when JV ball?
JV ball 2 years.
You went to DRS in the playoffs.
No, it was a Mote Shabbos.
Oh.
Yeah, none of the people signed up.
Okay, so
I guess we know if we have to go to the greenhouse and varsity ball, don't schedule the game for a Mote Shabbos.
Exactly. That again.
Yeah, but the fact that everyone that would take the bus would be someone that'd be loud in the pit. So you wouldn't be getting these kids that everyone's going is going to be loud. You're not going to get kids that are just going to be there and not chant. That everyone's going. That's
another interesting discussion. What's better as a pit? Meaning, like the Sarachek finals last year had a lot of dead weight. No offense, but some kids just didn't really know what to do exactly. At speaking of Sarachek finals, beautiful sweatshirts. Shout out to the team. And versus a pit like Monday night where everyone was chanting, but it's a much smaller pit and the crowd's rocking.
I mean, you also have to keep in mind that DRS, they usually, not this year, because I think it's a little bit of a down year for their JV teams, but they have one gym, so they host a lot of playoff games, and you kind of have to take the dates that are available to you, that they offer in terms of scheduling, but maybe it should be a little bit easier now because I assume that their JV ball team their JV ball team will have to host a first round game at least.
But that's it. That's pretty much going to be it.
That's pretty much it. Their JV hockey team will have to travel most likely, and your varsity teams both have buys, so maybe it won't be as logistically hard should we have to go to the greenhouse to get a suitable date for us to have ample time to prepare and also have a fan base that'll join us for that game.
But again, no fan bus. But that's crazy that we're already discussing playoffs. It feels like just a few days ago.
When we get back, JV ball's done with the regular season. Varsity hockey have those 2 home games against Kushner and MTA. JV hockey have that road game against SAR, and varsity ball have that last home game against SAR.
Yeah, which is senior.
No, it's spring sports.
Exactly.
Spring sports.
It's crazy. It feels like just a few days ago, just a few weeks ago, that we were at Frisch. I mean, we were at home playing Frisch, that crazy pit with the Israelis, and here we are, entering finals week, and season's almost done. We're discussing playoffs already, so hopefully, I think we'll record an episode probably right when we get back, maybe discussing the final few games a little more in depth, along with the Montreal tournament. JV ball going to be heading there.
That's Sunday night. We got to wait for the conference championships to end, of course, in the NFL.
Obviously, yeah, of course. Super Bowl predictions. I mean, this is impossible. The NFL is just wide open right now. It's like JV hockey.
You know what? I'm going to take Buffalo.
Okay.
Buffalo over. I'll take Buffalo. I'll take Buffalo over Seattle.
Yeah, that was very similar to my would-be pick, so I'll switch it up. But I think this is like it's like JV hockey. Field's wide open.
Right. Right.
I'm gonna go with.
Listen, NFL playoffs without Mahomes and Lamar Jackson this year. Not common.
Josh Allen doesn't. The Bills don't look that great. The NFC's wide open. Packers without Micah Parsons. Who did Coach Katz pick? Did you do picks?
Not yet.
Okay, because
Wait for that episode.
I know I'm picking whoever Coach Katz picks, but I'm going Seahawks over. I'll go Broncos for fun. I know I'll go Patriots. Seahawks over Patriots. Rematch. Malcolm Butler Bowl. Rematch.
Shout out Robert Kraft.
Thank you all so much for.
Oh, my Super Bowl prediction.
Oh,
I said before the season started, you could check it on Between the Bases. Shout out Micha Block. I said Bills 49ers, and that's that pick. So I have to say that, no matter what, because that was my pick before the season. So.
you want to talk about your wrestling?
Yeah, I mean, when we get back from winter break, wrestling will have only a couple weeks till the Wittenberg tournament takes place over President's Weekend at Frisch. Attendance is highly encouraged. Hopefully, Daniel Delman could become a 3-time Wittenberg champion. Ice hockey. I mean, Nate Cutler actually approached me in school this week. He wants to come on the Stormcast and talk more about.
Did they win Sunday night? I forgot that.
They won Sunday night.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Good.
they won 6-4. I think Schwabel had a hat trick.
He gets on if you
Ice hockey team is a face.
I mean,
just let you know that.
But he wants a platform to discuss more about the team, and
sure.
and I told him we'd be more than happy to give him a platform. And
as many jokes as I make and we all make about spring sports / wrestling / ice hockey. That's only. I mean, that's because that's what the culture around it is.
Right.
If
But we gave Daniel Delman a platform last year, and he was phenomenal.
I think that was one of our best interviews.
Right.
If Delman, you're listening to this, we'd love to have you on.
So if Nate Cutler would like to come on and advocate for his sport, we'd be more than happy to give him the platform.
Exactly. What's ice hockey's record? If you want to,
I think maybe 3-4, 2-4.
And wrestling, nothing really matters.
Right, because
Exactly.
the matches don't have any standings on anything.
All right.
No, it's just
Wittenberg.
Wittenberg's their season.
Wittenberg. It's not even like Sarachek being your season. That's what Wittenberg is. Okay, so thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all so much for watching. Hatzacha on finals. Enjoy your winter break. And no Caster as a send off message to all Frisch kids.
She's here.